Recently, I've been thinking a lot about making our home our happy place and how I can do that on a budget as a stay-at-home mom. My favorite way that I have found to decorate our home is to collect items from estate sales and thrift stores. I recently just attended one of the best estate sales I have ever been to. They actually had a huge wedding tent in the back that was just $1 items. There were seriously hundreds of items in this tent, and that's where the majority of this haul that you see came from. I got all kinds of blue and red transferware, baking dishes, linens, crystal, and some baskets. I would say that our style is a collected style. We have a 100-year-old farmhouse, and so I like to do a lot of old farmhouse style items and decor, but I also like to mix in modern pops of color here and there as well. So I'm going to walk you through each thing that I got and how I'm going to use it. First thing that I found were these blue transfer dishes. I love collecting all kinds of different blue and white dishes. I like to put these in my china hutch, which is what I'm doing with these today, but I've also collected servingware and some pitchers that are also blue and white, and I like to sprinkle those throughout the house as well. I've mentioned in previous videos, I know in my Americana decorating video, which I will link above, that I keep my hutch pretty simple as far as colors. I like to have white as my background, so I have a lot of white dishes. This way, when it's time for the 4th of July or Christmas, I can sprinkle in some of those red transferware dishes, and then the rest of the year I stick with the blue transferware. One of the red transfer dishes was really neat in the sense that it had a picture of George Washington being presented with one of the first renditions of the American flag. I thought this dish was really neat, and it's actually on a plate rack, and I plan to use this next year in my 4th of July decor. Aside from thrift store and estate sale finds, I also love handmade items. So here I am changing up my buffet decor and adding in a table runner that my mom made that has chickens on it. I love keeping this out during the spring and summertime. It's just so fun and quirky and very much me. The next item I got is actually just a practical thing. It's a biscuit cutter. I also got 2 different cake pans for $1. I got an angel food cake pan and a heavy duty bundt pan, both for $1. I also scored this vintage bowl, which I actually knew went for much more than what I paid for it. So I grabbed this just in case, and if I want to resell it, I can, but I think I'm just going to keep it as an extra mixing bowl. Another find I had was these $1 8x10 frames. So like I mentioned before, we have a 100-year-old farmhouse, and we recently moved our laundry upstairs to our one and only bathroom. So we moved our laundry into our bathroom closet, and I added some wallpaper and paint to make over this area because everybody that comes to our home is going to see it. Here are these picture frames. You can see that these frames have some staining. This is what they looked like when I first bought them. So it's kind of got this cheaper looking gold and black streaked finish. I just took some gold leaf rub and buff, and I'm using a foam brush here to just paint this on. If you've never used rub and buff, it is so handy to make over all kinds of things. You can put it on wood and metal, update picture frames like I'm doing here, update drawer pulls, or cabinet doorknobs, anything like that. So I'm just brushing this on, and I'm going to show you what a difference it made in the final look. I want to add some artwork to our bathroom. So I'm hopping back on Canva just like I did for my Americana print that I showed in one of my last videos, and I'm finding some free artwork. If you have the Canva Premium subscription, you actually have access to a lot of different pieces of art. So I chose some Monet prints and made sure that the ones that I chose had a lot of blue and green in them to match that wallpaper and the rest of our bathroom decor. From there, I just resized my image and cut them out and put them in the frames. I love how these turned out, and it was such a simple project, And for less than $1 each, I was able to add some beautiful artwork to our bathroom. And like many DIY projects do, one spurns on another. So when I put these pieces of art up on our wall, I also found this print called The Artist Garden, and I fell in love with it. And I thought that the greens would really match our green mantle. So I actually sent this one to Walmart because it's a 16 by 20 and I couldn't print that. And for $13, I was able to get this Monet print and put it on our mantle. It kind of inspired me to go out in the garden and cut some sunflowers. We have some beautiful lemon queen sunflowers growing right now. So I cut several of those and a few black-eyed Susans, and I decided to kind of mimic the look of the picture by adding in sunflowers in my blue and white vases, similar to the blue and white pots in that print. So these pictures and vases I already had, and the flowers I already had in my garden, but if you didn't have those, you could very easily find some fake silk sunflowers and have a pretty but cheap mantle that brings a lot of life and joy to your living room. So here's the finished look. For under $14, I have a beautiful mantle that brings so much brightness and joy to our living space. Sunflowers are one of those things that always make me smile. So this to me is definitely an example of making our home our happy place. The next thing that I found at the estate sale were these super cute cookie cutters. So these antique cookie cutters were in a box. There was a ton of them, and I picked out 4. There's 3 here, and then I picked out another larger heart that I thought would be so fun to make handheld size Pop-Tarts. So these will be little miniature brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts. I started out with a sourdough pie crust and just rolled that out until it was probably 1/4 of an inch thick. And then I cut my heart shapes out and I filled them with a brown sugar cinnamon mixture. So for this, I did about 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter, a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar, and probably 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and mix that together to kind of make a paste. And then I put a dollop of that in the center of the heart and spread it out just a little bit, but leaving the edges clear. Once I had my filling inside, I put the other heart shape on top to close my Pop-Tart, and then took my fork and crimped the edges to seal it off. It is really important when you're working with pie dough and Pop-Tarts to make sure that your dough stays chilled. Your dough will warm up as you're handling it and rolling it out. So what I like to do is get all of my Pop-Tarts made up and then pop them back in the fridge for probably 30 minutes or so while the oven preheats. If you don't do that, everything is going to melt when you put it in the oven. So the butter in your pie crust and the mixture in your Pop-Tart is all going to melt and ooze out and make a big sticky mess. So make sure that you bake them cold. I actually had a little bit of dough left over that I couldn't make more hearts out of, so I decided to do a couple of rectangles so that way I didn't waste any of the pie dough. And I have to say, the heart shapes were super cute, but the rectangles, first of all, gave you more filling in your Pop-Tart, but they also turned out much flakier. It was almost like a crispier croissant. They were so good. So the hearts were really cute, but I think that the Pop-Tart company was onto something when they made it a rectangle shape. So here you can see my Pop-Tarts are all crimped and pressed together. And then I'm also poking a couple of holes in the top just to let steam escape. And here you can see the Pop-Tarts with a brown sugar drizzle. So the brown sugar drizzle, I just mixed together some brown sugar, vanilla, a tiny pinch of salt, cinnamon, and some milk. I will put the recipe in the description box, and eventually I'll get it up on the blog as well. But this was just something that I made up, so I need to go back and fine-tune the measurements to make sure that it's a consistent result each time. But these were absolutely delicious. I know that the Pop-Tarts don't have anything to do with decorating. I think filling your home with collected items that you love and that spark joy and creativity in you are one of the best ways that you can make your home your happy place. I hope you enjoyed decorating with me today and looking through my estate sale finds. If this is something you enjoy, hit that subscribe button and make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what you look for at estate sales. Until next time, you can catch us on the blog, gardenofmirth.com, for more homemaking, cooking from scratch, and gardening. Until next time, bye friends.